Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Community Connection. Pastor Joe and Pastor Josh with you today. Hope you've had a good week. We wanted to do another special connection today to talk about a dimension of church life that a number of people have questions about, but is not often talked about, and that's church membership. And really, there's a blessing behind the details of just something as mundane as church membership. So stay with us. Don't click away. This is important, a conversation. Church membership, what it's all about, and what the blessing is that people are finding as they're joining Valley Forth Church. So, Josh, as we begin to talk about church membership, let me ask you a basic question. That is, what is church membership?
That's a great question. A lot of people wonder, is it like a gym membership where I pay my dues and that means I get to come to church or have some kind of benefit? And it's not that kind of a membership, obviously. You're not going to get a card, although we do give a certificate that's kind of nice.
We do. It's a nice one.
Yeah. At its essence, the way we understand membership is it's the way that people commit to Valley Forth Church as their church. It is a formal commitment in that sense. And there's some process that we'll talk about here in just a little bit, but it's a chance for you to get to know Valley Forth Church, get to know our doctrine, our teaching, how we work. So you get to know us and we get to know you.
Yes.
And so it's really important both ways for us to get to know you in a better way and for you to get to know us. And it's just simply a next step.
It is.
That may be for you or maybe someone you know that hasn't gone through yet may be interested in starting the membership
You bet.
process.
And my wife and I, as we've been in different churches and grew in our Christian life, we understood that was an important next step in our discipleship process. And it felt good. It felt right. And so all through our many years of walking with Christ, we've seen that as a next step of commitment. So if that's the case and people are interested in this, how does the membership process at Valley Forth Church work? It's different in different churches. We have, I think, what is a very healthy process, but let's talk about it. Tell people what it's like to walk through.
It is a little unique perhaps from other churches, but there's four pieces. They don't always go in the same order. The first piece we talk about is attending Valley Forth Church for 6 months.
Right.
You cannot become a member of Valley Forth Church unless you've attended for 6 months. However, that doesn't mean you can't start other parts of the membership process, like taking the class or any of the other parts. We can't finish the process until they've attended for 6 months. So we want to make sure you've been here long enough to decide that this is your church, before you become a member. Second piece we talk about is a membership class. This is sometimes done on 2 days, 2 Sunday mornings. Sometimes we've done it in one, more lengthy class. So we try to offer the classes periodically. If you're interested in a class, you can always check with the church and find out when the next class is. And so there's the class. Things you might learn in the class. We'll talk about church history, how we started, our vision, our mission, the teaching, some of the kind of nuts and bolts about how our church runs. But also how you can be involved, how you can participate. And so you'll learn, we'll show you some information, but the value a lot of people find is that's where they can surface their questions. A lot of folks have questions about how a certain thing may work at the church, and in that small class, you can ask anything you want. So it's kind of for you, really, to find out, what are the important things you would like to know about how our church works before maybe formally committing. And so that class is a great time. We have a lot of fun with that. The third part of the process is pretty unique, and that's where you get to share your testimony with 3 of our elders.
Right.
And this scares a few folks to have to, share in front of a couple different people. But think about this: you don't have to share in front of the whole church.
Yeah, that's true.
Just a couple of our elders, and this is important for a number of reasons. It helps us to make sure that to the best of our ability, we think you understand the gospel clearly, which actually ends up being a help for you because it helps bring some assurance of faith. So that from our side, anyone that becomes a member of Valley Forth Church, to the best of our understanding, is a believer in Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So that's where that step is. And then the final step is, I like to call it presenting them to the body. And we bring some folks up. Maybe you've seen it if you've been here at church before. Or on a Sunday, we'll bring up some people and we'll introduce them and vote them in. It's a vote of affirmation where the church body gets to collectively bring them into the church. So those are the 4 steps: attend for 6 months, take the class, share your testimony, and be presented to the church.
And that personal presentation is a time of affirmation from the body to you and commitment each other, between each other, really. to where people tell me it's really been one of the highlights of their Christian walk. Yeah. It just makes real corporate Christianity, the Christianity as a body, and I think it's so special when we do that.
Yeah.
So that's the process. Why should somebody consider doing this? I mean, it's not just a formal thing that you want to do. There are some personal effects that occur when you go through this process. Why should somebody consider it?
Well, there's a number of reasons I want to share today. Maybe we'll start with a few practical ones first. People say, "Oh, what does it matter if I am a member or not to attend Valley Forth Church?" A couple of practical pieces. If you want to vote in one of our meetings, we typically vote on budgets and electing leaders. So to be able to vote, you need to be able to be a member. To be able to be selected or put forward for church leadership, you need to be a member. And you may not aspire to that yet, but maybe someday God would stir in someone's heart. So we would encourage people to become a member for that. Another not well-known practical reason is church membership is a legally recognized thing. The Supreme Court actually upholds this, that churches can have membership, and it provides in our ever-changing culture a small umbrella of religious protection of being a member of a local church. Yeah. So there's a few practical reasons, but it's not just for that, obviously. We've got some important spiritual reasons why someone would consider being a member of a church. You want to know about your church if you're going to be committed to it.
Yeah.
So it helps you to be able to do your homework to know, do I believe what they believe? Am I on the same kind of mission? It creates a common bond, a connection point where others have gone through this process before you, others would go through afterwards. And so you've gone through the same process
it's amazing
that everyone else goes through.
I can't tell you how many times we've seen friendships formed out of that class because everybody's new or newer to the church. And so there's a place in life where you have a commonality. So people end up being, couples as dinner partners and small group members and other things out of the process. You're right.
You do. And sometimes people will attend for a number of years before deciding to go through a membership class.
Yes.
So just because we had one couple that attended for probably 30 years and then decided to go through it. So don't feel bad if you've attended for a while and then decide to go through the process. No one's going to look down on that. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but I think it helps provide people an assurance of their faith.
Yeah.
When even those that have been nervous to share their testimony with the elders, afterwards they said, I feel better now that I've shared my faith with them, and they affirmed, yes, we think you understand the gospel.
Yes.
It's an affirming thing.
It really is.
For the individual, and that experience to be up in front of the church, to be welcomed in,
Absolutely.
For everyone else to cheer and to welcome you, it's just a real special thing. And perhaps just the key piece, the main idea, I guess, of this video is it is a way for you to commit to Valley Forth as your local church.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So if you're ready to do that,
if you're ready.
We're always ready to help with that. I think is the best way to put that. I mean, there's information on our website. If somebody is ready, what would you tell them to do?
Yeah, just reach out to us. Call the church office. You can ask for me, and we'll talk about when the next membership class and how to get you in that process. Certainly, if there's other questions you have we didn't answer in this video, I'd be happy to talk with you about those as well.
Awesome. Well, we do have a class coming up, in fact. It's going to be scheduled Sunday, February 7th. So if you do have questions about that, contact us. And after today's Community Connection, it might be something that really is stirred in your heart. We hope and pray that's the case. We also have an annual meeting coming up. We want to remind everybody about that. That's coming up Thursday, January 28th. Encourage you to be there. It's an in-person kind of meeting. And so we encourage you to come. Members vote. Non-members can attend, right?
Yes, that's something that's often not very clear. Anyone is welcome to come to the annual meeting, even if you're not a member.
Right.
But for the actual votes, members are the ones that vote. But you're welcome to come and watch and be a part of that.
So we wanted to give you a little insight into this dimension of church life today in this Community Connection. Hope it's been helpful to you. And again, we look forward to seeing you on the Lord's Day in person or engaging in our virtual community, and we just are thankful for what God is doing every single week here as we live out the gospel of Valley Forth Church. So thanks, guys. We love you.